Hey friends, welcome back. All right, so today we are going to take our beautiful composition, our beautiful piece of artwork featuring our still life repeating all over our paper. All right, if you guys remember from yesterday, we traced all over. We wanted to make sure we filled in our whole space. Now, our next step is we need to make sure it gets all traced with Sharpie. Now, here's something that I want to talk to you guys about. If you don't have a Sharpie or if you don't have a flair pen, you guys literally can use anything. So black color pencil, a black pen, all right, that would work too. Black marker, black crayon, whatever you happen to have, all right? So in this case, I'm going to use my Sharpie, and I want to trace all of my drawing all over this paper. So our whole thing for today, folks, is we are tracing and sharpieing over our drawing. I do want to talk to you folks about line weight. So I'm using my traditional Sharpie to trace over the major parts. And for my small details, if you happen to have something else, if you happen to have a skinny Sharpie, I want to go in and do a really thin little line like this and use your skinnier line to trace over our smaller details. That ends up looking really cool. You don't have to do that, but I'm just saying this is another little design element that we can be doing. And so just so you guys can see, even when I go to overlap, I'm going to make sure I just keep drawing right on top of the previous drawing. So pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to exactly what you're drawing here. And I'm going to do this shape here. I want to do my bigger shapes with my bigger Sharpie. All right, and then if you have a smaller one, you should do your smaller details with a skinny, super fine. So if maybe you decided to draw a pencil, you can use this to do some of your small details around the eraser, or if there's just any sort of writing on your pencil or on your item that you drew. Or if you're just like, oh my gosh, Mrs. Fader, I don't have all these supplies. You just use what you have at home, all right, friends? No big deal. So it is important, though, we do trace over. And if you want, you guys, you don't have to do black. You can trace it with a different color if you'd like to, navy blue, whatever. Marker would be wonderful. So hopefully you guys are understanding. We're going to draw right on top of each other's drawing. We have this overlapping, but we don't need to worry about erasing anything. We're just going to trace right over every single drawing that we did yesterday. Now, just like what we're used to seeing, folks, we want to make sure that we do that eraser wash. So let me show you what I mean by that. I traced over all this. I want to take my eraser now and I want to remove the pencil if I can, just because it makes this look a lot more finished and refined. So our goal today is please trace over everything with something black or with a marker. And I want you guys to remove your pencil if you can. Now listen, folks, if you guys traced with pen or something alternative like a colored pencil, just make sure you do a really good job tracing, because you cannot really do an eraser wash without smearing everything. So just be very careful about knowing what you use to trace. And if it's permanent marker like this, that's great. You could probably take your eraser and clean it up. If it's not, I would say just do a very good job tracing and leave it alone. But you got to be very careful about how you rub an eraser over certain materials. Let me show you kind of what I mean. If I were to trace something in, I don't know, a traditional flair pen even, see if you guys do that and you try to erase over it. Sometimes it erases, sometimes it smears, that should be okay. If I traced in pen and I tried to erase it, you guys can see, it does do a little bit of smearing. Same thing with color pencils. So just be careful about what you're using. If you need to, you can practice on a spare sheet of paper. So we want to make sure all these things get traced. And tomorrow we're going to do our final bit, and it's going to end up being a really beautiful piece of artwork. So tomorrow we're going to start adding that color to the background. All right, folks, post your progress on Seesaw. I'll help you if I can, and I can't wait to see it.